Hola, bom dia. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show from expatsportugal.com. Subscribe here, sign up for premium membership. You know what to do. Right, it's Friday. Not only a Friday, it is Filomena Friday, as Paul and Louise are proudly proclaiming from the rooftops. It's a TGIF from Mike Campion, and it's an hola bon dia from Neil and from Robert. Morning, everyone. Greetings from Cornwall and from Milda in Norway. Bon dia, alegria. And from Grajman, bon dia. We're getting into the spirit and the mood. Bon dia, alegria, of course, is the invention or the sharing of the wonderful Filomena, who is here for the Filomena Friday. Ta-da!
Hola! Hola, bom dia, alegria!
How are you? Tudo bem?
Tudo bem, obrigada.
Oh, perfect. It's so good to see you on this sexta-feira here in Portugal. The weather's better. The deconfinement is happening slowly but surely. How is it in your world? How is it in the beautiful part of central Portugal that is Miranda de Corvo, Filomena?
Yes, well, it's fine. We had a bit of rain, but but now I think it's a little better today.
It was a very April-y last night, wasn't it? Abril.
Yeah.
The April showers were
Em abril, águas mil. Em abril, águas mil.
There you go. There's our first cultural and linguistic insight of the day. Em abril, águas mil. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes,
Nearly.
em abril, águas mil.
Very good. Meaning in April, lots of water.
Yeah, 1,000 mil.
1,000 waters. Fantastic. Okay. Lots of people delighted that you're here this morning. Hank over in California, Paul in Harrogate, sunny Yorkshire, probably up to 0 degrees there by now in the heat wave that is Harrogate. From Mark Rigby up in Povoa de Varzim on the green coast of Portugal, a changeable Povoa de Varzim, and it's only just after 9 o'clock, so he's having 4 seasons in one day by the sound of it there. Carl and Filomena, bon dia, Prosecco. Peggy is in the house. She's here and may have a question or two for us. It's a good evening from New Zealand, from Denise. Weather here in California is beautiful. Yeah, Californian weather, very similar to Portugal, I think, and others agree with me on that. I think who've experienced both. Bon dia from Oregon, from the Jonesy. Paul saying in Cabanas de Tavira, it's rather grey. The weekend starts here, though. However, bon fin de semana, Filomena. I think we might have a first question. How do you say it is good? Yes, this is one that's been on my list as well. Thank you for this, Paul and Louise. In case you don't know, Filomena is a great friend of the show. She joins us every month now for Filomena Friday, one Filomena Friday a month, to help us with these cultural and linguistic insights. Last month, the last session, we solved the mystery. That is, when you're standing in the queue in Lidl, vamos abrir a caixa dois. I'm thinking, what on earth is she saying? And Filomena broke it down for us, so I feel like a Portuguese scholar every time I'm in Lidl now, and I hear that now. I even say, listen, kids, estimados clientes, vamos abrir, and I say to the kids, vamos abrir a caixa dois. So
now you know it by heart.
it feels to me like a mystery movie where we've cracked the code and saved the free world when we got through with that. So any questions at all, not just the language, although if it's all language questions, that's fine. But Filomena is brilliant on the cultural insights as well, and those funny little things that can happen between the people of different countries as they experience life in Portugal. And there's a few fascinating and amusing stories to tell about that. So this is the first great question of the morning. How do you say it is so? Let's elevate it. It is so good to see you.
Well, it is so good to see you. We could say é tão bom ver-te, or é tão bom vê-la, or é tão bom Velo, because there we go into formal, informal, masculine, feminine as usual, right?
Yay, 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 yay.
But no, not very difficult. So if it's to a friend, you can say é tão bom ver-te, ver-te, because it has to do with the word tu, right? The informal you. É tão
Okay.
bom ver-te, or é bom ver-te. If on the other hand you are speaking to someone you don't know very well, or you want to be more formal, then you could say é tão bom vê-la, and la ending with an A if it's a woman, or é tão bom vê-lo ending with an O if it's a man or a boy. So é tão bom vê-la, feminine, é tão bom vê-lo, masculine. So we have 3 different ways of saying it is so good to see you.
Take your pick. Take your pick and practice your memory skills. So, but could you just say the first bit? Est ton beau.
É tão bom. It is so good. É tão bom.
Est ton beau. And can we spell that? And let's share that on the screen if we may.
É with an E with an accent. É.
Yep.
Tão. T-A-O. With the till on the A. É tão. Bom. B-O-M.
Of course.
And of course, the bon, we don't pronounce the M at the end, right? It's just the nasal sound of bon. So, bon.
Anna,
Bon, that's right, yeah. And Rita is helping, yeah. Bon.
I can do the accents on my version, but thankfully Anna's here. Thank you, Anna. One of the Ask Our Expats team, Expats Portugal.
Yeah.
Bon. That I really have wanted to say that, because I do have my regular people I see on my daily round, especially now. After being separated from people for so long, you see some old faces in the old village I used to live in. If I can now say "est un bon," that's fantastic. And the velho or velha is like old, isn't it? I mean, it's like as in old friend,
Yes.
old buddy.
Yeah, you can say velho amigo, velha amiga. You can say as old friend. Yeah.
Okay, that's really good. That's a really great question there. So thank you very much to Paul and Louise. Michelle also over there in the UK, similar part of the country, I believe. Bon dia from a rainy Nottingham. Kimberly's here. The people are coming from far and wide for the Filomena Friday, learning about
And for Carl, of course.
Good morning, Cornwall from Kimberly there. Adam, that's a new or rare name on the show. Adam Labar. Morning to you, and thank you for your good morning message, Adam. Marguerite, good morning. Come on, in Portuguese.
Good morning. Bom dia, bom dia.
Bon dia, Alegria is here. And it's a God Morgan from Sweden this morning. So we always learn a little bit about some other cultures, don't we, when we're together, Filomena? So a God Morgan from Ricard in Sweden there. And that sounds like an interesting YouTube channel. Sweden and the Philippines journey. Bon dia from Anna, who's already helping us this morning from a cloudy Cascais.
Yeah.
Anna, you have some interesting stories to tell that laughs at the expense of certainly British expats over there in Cascais.
Bom dia a todos. Todos, right?
Yes.
Bom dia a todos.
Pamela, we did this. If you want to learn more about the Silver Coast, also in our Ask Our Expats team is Pamela, who lives in Alcobaça, knows about that area. I love
Very
Alcobaça.
good, Pamela, but bom dia a todos.
Yeah, you forget the A in there, but we're just trying to help. No offense, anybody, but we're just improving our Portuguese skills. If you want to do that, and you've got some questions,
I'm here to tell everybody off.
You do it in such a wonderful way, Filomena. We'll take no end of tellings off from you. From Gemini, good morning, everyone. Come on in Portuguese, please. Hola! From it's a lovely sunny day here in Devon. I was ahead of you there, Mark. Can you type that phrase, please? So that was a great question. That was a great question from Paul and Louise, because we do want to be saying to people, special hello to Filomena. Welcome back for Filomena Friday.
Obrigada.
Problem I've got this morning is I couldn't find the jingle. I've loaded up the appropriate jingle playing software and everything, but our wonderful friend Owen, and I haven't seen Owen on social media for a good while, Filomena Friday. So we've got to sing it ourselves this morning. A few people popping it in there, and that's good for the repetition, isn't it? Learning
Yeah.
is helped by repetition, as we know.
Yes.
There we go. Look, and there's the translation of the code as well.
Vamos abrir a caixa 1 ou 2, etc. Yeah.
And it must seem so funny to you that we're so delighted to have worked out something so simple, Filomena.
Yeah, well, this is simple, but I think the problem was that you couldn't understand the words, right? I mean, you couldn't just identify what were the words exactly, right? I think you
Exactly.
just you used to listen to the sentence, and it was just a blah 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 blah, and you couldn't figure out what the words were. But
It did.
if you see the words, it's a lot simpler, right?
It's so good to have that explained to us. Ree is in Florida, 4 a.m. in the morning. What are you doing up at this time? Don't forget tonight, the man cave is We Are Sexy and You Know It, and it's a quite a well. We're going to be very vulnerable tonight, answering all questions that are coming in from the community about sex and sexuality from the point of view of men of a certain age who are expats. I mean, you couldn't get more niche. You probably couldn't. You probably don't even want to. You don't even want that. But in case you do, we'll be there from 10 o'clock tonight. And we've got a real proud boast this morning, Filomena. I don't know if you saw who was on our wine club last night.
No, last night I didn't. I was a bit busy with translation.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. But we had one of our favourite winemakers from the Bairrada region.
Mm-hmm.
Senor Pato was with us on the show last
Yeah,
night.
yeah, I have seen the picture. Yes, I've seen the picture.
He was amazing. He was amazing. It was such a privilege and pleasure to have him. He just turned up, hit the button, came on the screen. It was so natural, and he was with us for over an hour. It was quite incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Louise, obrigada. We will need this when we return to our village. Of course you will. They're getting ready for returning to the village. Hopefully that will be sooner rather than later. What's your assessment, Filomena, of how things are opening up? Are we doing it in the right way? Are things heading in the right direction from your point of view?
Well, we hope so, right? We really hope so. Yeah, I mean, the problem maybe, I don't know, but the problem that has been pointed out is the fact that people go to the terraces and sometimes they feel too safe there and they don't wear masks when they are sitting at the tables and because they are outside and okay, they think, okay, it's okay now, I can sit here and wearing no masks. But the thing is that you should wear a mask unless you are eating or drinking. But when you are not eating or drinking, because you can't do that with a mask, then you should have your mask on because this is not over yet.
It's not over yet. There's a reminder from Filomena. I mean, for me, Filomena, it's like kicking off my high heels at the end of the day as I walk to the table and I'm able to pull the mask off to sit down to have a coffee. But I take your point completely there. Good morning, Carl, Filomena, and all from Susan Renshaw. Come on, guys, we need a few more questions here. Let's make the
Well,
most of having Filomena here.
Well, as I told you, Carl, I was thinking maybe of speaking about words that sound very, very similar, and sometimes people have problem with, for example, numbers that are the sounds are similar. For example, starting with the numbers, the number 3 and 13. Sometimes people don't make the difference very clearly. So, for example, for 3, you say três, and then 13 is 13, right? So três, 13. If it's said quicker, três, 13, sometimes people can't figure out which one is the 3 and the 13. But três, the word três, ends with an S. So, as the usual sound for the final S is the sh. So we have the sound sh, três, right? But with the 13, treze, we don't have any sh sound. We have the z sound, right? The Z. So it's treze. So the difference, I would say, to identify it better, is the sh for the 3, três, and the z for the 13. 13.
That's really
13. Then,
Três.
yeah, then other two numbers that people sometimes have difficulty to understand is number 2 and 12, right? Dois, 12, and also, yes, can say, yes, exactly. Dois, 12, and also dash. Also dash, because dash is 10, dois, 2, and 12, 12. So, dois, yeah, 3 and 30. Yes, 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 yeah. I I know that because people tell me all the time about these numbers. So, 2, you say dois, right? Dois. And the thing is that you have the DOIS, and the OI is one sound, a diphthong, as we say. It's two vowels together. So it's the sound oi, right? Oi. So it's dois, and again the sh at the end because of the S. Dois for 2. Dois.
Okay.
But then you have 10, dash, dash. It's also sh at the end, but the vowel is an E, right? So you say E for the sound of the E, and it's dash. So dois, 2, dash, 10.
Ish.
And then 12, 12, which is 12, it's no longer sh, and there is no sh in that. It's just the z, right? 12, 12. So let's see if if it sounds different or not. Dois.
Everybody do this at home. Everybody definitely be doing this at home. Okay? So repeat after Filomena.
Yeah, dois,
Dois,
10,
dash,
12.
12.
Right?
Dois.
So 2, 10, and 12. Dois, 10, 12.
Very
It's
good.
different, right?
Yeah,
It's different.
absolutely. And I have a question for you then.
Yeah.
I mean, this you find out whether you've got it right when you've ordered, let's say, what you think is 2 or 3 beers, but 12 or 13.
12 beers, yeah, instead of 2.
That's right. And then you have to explain when you get home what happened because you were like several hours late and worse for wear. But how do you
Yeah, and
order?
you say it's not my fault. They brought 12 beers. Not my fault, right?
They didn't understand what I was saying. How do you say 12 portions of sweet?
Yes, that's a good one. Doses de doce.
I know, obviously.
Yeah, doses de doce. Yeah, I also I also had that on my list. Yes, very good. Because dose is 12,
Yeah,
and then doce,
doce.
doce is sweet, right? Doce. So you have the same sound of the O. Dose and doce. So it's the same sound of the O, but
Yeah,
it's not the same sound with the Z or the C, right? Because doze is D-O-Z-E, so it's with a Z sound, doze, but then doce is with a C, D-O-C-E. Then you have another sound for the O if you say portion. A portion, it doesn't start with do, like doze and dose. It starts with do. Do.
God.
Remember the last time we went with a va and a vo? Remember?
Yes, that's your
Remember?
superhero
And
vowel sound.
and
Do.
this is the same kind of difference in dose and dose, and then the open vowel on the portion is with an open o. Dose,
Doze.
dose, dose, dose. Yeah, an open sound.
This,
So
we should do these
dose. Yeah.
scales. Sorry, yeah. Go on. I
Sorry.
was just thinking, in the morning you could get up and go do da do da do do doze. Practice all your Portuguese vowel sounds.
Yes, all the sounds. You have
Yes.
plenty. You have plenty to practice, right?
Open your vowels first thing in the morning.
Yeah. So, so again, for people to understand,
Yes.
12,
12.
12,
Yep.
then
12.
the same sound of the O, doce, s,
12.
doce,
12.
which is sweet.
Sweet.
And then the different sound of the O, but with the same sound of Z, like doze, but a different O is doze for a
Doors.
portion.
Doors.
Doze, right?
Okay.
So this is the differences of Z and S, and also the vowel of the O, right? So doze, doce, doze, right?
Doze. Okay.
Mhm. Then,
Wow.
as it was referred before, the number 60 and 70, right? So to say 60, it's 60. Everything is right? 60,
This is
60. And then because the set is 7, right? You say to say 7, you say set. You have a T, right? Set. So
set.
you say 70, and then you have to pronounce this T. 70. 70. So you have that, let's say, that sound that cuts the T, right? The 70. 70.
70.
So
Okay.
the 60, you just go on with the right?
Yes.
60,
Yes.
60,
Yep.
60. And then 70 with a T, 70. 60, 70.
Very good.
Let's repeat. Let's repeat, Carl. 60,
That's the center.
70.
70.
Very good.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Filomena.
And then, if I may, oh yeah, okay.
No,
If I
go
may,
ahead.
there is also another number that is very similar, or okay, foreigners think it's similar. 60 and 100 and. How do you say 100 and? 100 and something.
Saying.
Centui, centui.
Oh,
Because 100, if
yeah.
it's 100 on its own, just 100, the word is same,
See.
same, right? But when you want to say 101, 120, 175, it doesn't matter, 100 and, it changes into centu,
Cento.
Cento,
Okay.
cento. So sometimes people don't understand if, for example, if it's 63 and 103,
Oh, yes.
right? 63, 103.
Yeah.
63, 103. So the sounds are also similar, but cento. So you have cento, just one sound, let's say, of the s. It's a c, so the sound s, cento. And the sessenta, you have a double sound center. So you have the sound s twice, right?
Yes.
Center. You have that sound twice. On 100 and you just have sin two, sin two.
Oh,
So
okay.
center. So again, let's say 63. 63.
63.
And now 103. 103.
103.
It's shorter, right? It's
Yes.
just cent.
103. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. And centos, you can remember that from the word centurion, of course, can't you?
Yes, and also, yeah, and when you want to say 100, 200, 300, it's always finishes in cento, right? 200 is 200, but then 200, 300, 400, so 400, 400, then 500 is a bit different, but 600, 700, 800, 900. So they all finish in centos, although there are a few that suffer some changes, but usually with this entos, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Or
very good.
hundreds. Okay.
Well
And
done, everyone.
you were having a question there. I didn't see the question.
Oh, yes, it was the pronunciation of "on," but we'll get back to that because so many lovely people here this morning wanting to say hello. I think we've worked them quite hard. They need a little bit of a rest after that, and I do hope you were saying it out loud at home. That's important. The embedding of these things and the repetition very important. Okay.
Yeah.
So bon dia from the sunny Silver Coast. From Jacqueline, good morning to you. Lovely to see people out and about through your window there, Filomena. That's fantastic because you've got a
Yes.
Bon dia from Joel.
I'm just in the center. I'm just in the center of the town, so I'm right in the center.
And a little bird told me that you have a shop near you where you're helping people who are struggling at the moment.
Right next to me. Right next to me. Yes, the Solidarity shop.
Let's talk about that as well today before we go.
Mm-hmm.
Paul just called me a girly swat. Well, I mean, if the cap fits, and you know, it's all very well in the comfort of your own home, him saying things like that. But when you're out and about in Portugal and you're speaking with everybody, and he's sat at the table, not just twiddling his thumbs, that it will all be worthwhile. And he'll be saying, Louise, how do I say it? And you can say to him, been paying more attention when we had Filomena Friday. Bon dia from Malaysia this morning from Bobby Joe.
Mm-hmm. Bon dia.
From Graham and Deb, sending love this morning from the YouTube moniker Gradman.
Love to you too.
And bon dia todos, very good. And I think to be fair to Pam, she was writing it as people say it because the does get
bon
a
dia
little.
todos. Yeah, bon dia todos. Yeah.
Sunny here in Hearts at the moment in Hertfordshire, and the wind has finally calmed down. Glad to hear that, Ian. Maybe the antacids are working then. Into the garden today. Raised beds to build, keeping nice and fit. Of course, our growing old gracefully man, who's got lots of videos for us, folks. We'll get Ian back on with the physical fitness stuff and the general well-being. My goodness, here we go. Formal, if it is a girl. This is really helpful, Anna, giving you. So cut and paste this, folks, into your resources and you know, speak it, repeat it, embed it. That's really helpful, Anna. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Desculpa, bom dia a todos, bom fim de semana from Mark Velleman. Interesting. Yes, I mean, for those of you who speak lots of different languages, I was in my garrafaria buying a load of wine yesterday, and the young Portuguese guy in there speaks German. His girlfriend's German, and he spent 10 years in Germany or something like that. Great guy. And they've they had this decision to make: should they live in Germany? He loves Hamburg in Germany, or should they live in Beirada, where he grew up? And the girlfriend wants to stay in Portugal, which is a lovely outcome. But I said, "What do you think? What language do you think in?" And he said, "I think in German." Isn't that amazing? I mean, so do you have English
yeah,
thoughts?
I used to dream. I used to dream in German when.
You speak German as well.
Yes, I speak German, but when I was a student, it doesn't matter for the show, but when I was a student, I used to spend my summers in Germany to work and learn the language. My aim was improving the language, and so at the time, because that was last century. So at the time there were no mobile phones or anything. So I was sometimes I was the only Portuguese person in a small village, and I had to speak German from the minute I got up to the minute I went to bed, right? And so if you spend your whole summer like this, then the language is in your head in such a way that I really started to dream in German, and so sometimes my German in my dreams was even better than.
Of course, we're all better in our dreams, aren't we?
Yeah.
But I've got this vision of, like, if you start dreaming in German, you also start dreaming in black and white. You know, like a black and white an art film, and there you are dreaming in black and white as well. So that's a question for everybody this morning. We don't want to know too much about your dreams, but what language do you dream in, and what language do you think in if you're multilingual, if you're one of those clever people? Donna is here. Bon dia, amor, Filomena. That's beautiful, isn't it?
Amor, yeah, love.
You've so many fans here. It's fantastic. Here's one for the language clinic. I need to ask my neighbor if I can do some work at the back of my house, but I need permission to enter his land to do it. How would I ask? So very practical for Gary here.
Well, this is very specific. Of course, this needs a whole conversation, not just one sentence. That, in my perspective. But yes, he could say, posso entrar na sua propriedade, for example, may I enter your property? Ou dá-me licença, do you give me permission? Dá-me licença de entrar na sua terra ou na sua propriedade, no seu terreno, usually if it's a piece of land. Posso entrar no seu terreno? May I enter your land? So it has plenty of different choices, but yeah, in a simple way, you could say, posso entrar no seu terreno para fazer algumas obras em minha casa, por exemplo.
Obras as in works.
Obras, work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you do some work at the house, or yeah.
Or on the roads, because on the road signs it says obras, doesn't it?
Obras, yeah, obras.
Obras. So the emphasis on obras. Okay, so I'm hearing a few words there: terranos, entrar, posso, and it's putting these together, isn't it?
Posso entrar no seu terreno para fazer obras em minha casa. So, may I enter your land to do some work in my house? So, you can say that. Yeah.
So you can be forgiven for thinking. Immediately I would have said, like, posso entrar também, trabalho aqui, and I'd be pointing and putting these little.
Yeah, trabalho is work in the sense of, for example, what do you do? What's your work? Then you can say qual é o seu trabalho. But when we do some renovation works or fixing something in the house, it's we call it obras, or on the roads. Yeah, obras. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. There you go, Gary. I'm sure that will help. And
yeah. And if he needs something more specific, he can always text me, and I will help him.
Oh, that's so kind. Oh, trips for Brits. Let me just put that in. If you want to get in touch with Filomena, who does one-to-one tuition, and helps in all kinds of ways, translation and so on. If you will let me know that I've put the correct email address in here, that'll be great.
I also do certified translations if someone needs for something official, official document for anything. I also do translations and certify them. Yeah.
Okay, and that's the right email address that I've put there, is it?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, so many lovely comments coming in, and I would echo this sentiment. Cerveja diplomacy goes a long way, I think. Take beers with you. Take two with the caps
yes. on. Take him a beer, and that's the problem solved.
I know that Gary would be doing that anyway. Sometimes when I'm leaving a shop, the older shopkeeper would say to me something that I was told meant "God willing." Can you please say that in Portuguese for me, so that Peggy can...
Se Deus quiser, se Deus quiser, se Deus quiser.
Se Deus quiser.
For example, you can say até amanhã, se Deus quiser. See you tomorrow, God willing. Até amanhã, se Deus quiser.
Quiser.
Se Deus quiser.
Se Deus quiser. Okay.
Se Deus quiser. Se Deus quiser.
Okay. So slowing it down, breaking it down, I get that. Se Deus quiser. Okay.
Se Deus quiser. Quiser.
Quiser. What verb is that then? Is that
the verb querer. It's the verb querer. If you want a coffee, you say queria café. But in a different tense is se Deus quiser.
Yes. Okay, that's. I thought
meaning
it was
if God wants, so God willing.
Absolutely. Yeah? Okay, that's a lovely phrase to have in your arsenal. Very good. Thank you, Peggy, for bringing that up. Oh dear, says Hannah. Time to put the earphones in for the man cave tonight, not family listening. Well, maybe. I mean, we're quite frank and open, but I think, but not in any way is salacious the right word, or obscene for the sake of it. It is like being in a pub. I guess that would be the guide, and a British pub, because obviously the pubs vary around the world. So we are quite frank and open, but I'm hoping educational at the same time. And yeah, take him a beer. That seems to work on many levels. Food and drink, the language of diplomacy. Bon dia, our dear friend, you are doing great.
Yeah.
Love from Deb's.
Graham, actually, Graham, yesterday I was, just speaking to him, and he pointed out some difficulty he has with, for example, he said that in French and in English, for example, the words finishing in ION, you know the same words, but you just make a bit of a French intonation and people understand. And what about Portuguese? And actually, I would like to tell everybody that there are lots and lots of words that if you know how the ending in English is and how the same word ends in Portuguese, you have already plenty of vocabulary that you know, right?
Yeah.
So may I start with that?
Of course, please do. And the one that comes immediately to mind is estación.
That's right. Yes. So if the words finishing in English with tion, like station, you replace the tion by a c with cedilla, right? A c with a cedilla, and then an ao sound, and you call the same word. So station, estação, nation. Sorry. Nation, a nação, collection, coleção, education, educação, right? So you have plenty of words that you already know in Portuguese, right? Estação, nação, coleção, educação. They are, although they finish with an O, but they are usually feminine, right? Okay? So, a estação, a nação, a coleção, a educação. Then you have plenty of words in English that also finish not with a tion, but with an sion, like, for example, illusion. So instead of having a C with cedilla in Portuguese, we have an S also, an S and an AO. So, for example, illusion, ilusão, invasion, a invasão, dimension, dimensão, version, versão. So, and you go on, right? So this is the way you do it. And also usually feminine words ending in ão, ilusão, invasão, dimensão, etc. Feminine, although they finish with an O, but it's with ão. So they are usually feminine. Not always, not all the words ending in ão are feminine, but these are usually feminine. Sorry. Then you have the words finishing in ly, so li, right, in English, and in Portuguese they finish with mente. So these are adverbs and they finish in mente. For example, if you say particularly, and in Portuguese, particularmente. So it's the same, but instead of li, it's just mente. Originally, originalmente. Especially, especialmente. Normally, normalmente. Finally, finalmente, and we could go on and on, right? So as you see, this is a very simple way, and you already know plenty of words that you can just replace like this, right?
Fantastic. So that's just with your nouns and your adverbs.
It doesn't finish here, Carl.
Scoop.
Then we have the words finishing in al, like sensual, right? And in Portuguese, it's the same. They are exactly the same, but we just stress at the end. So the difference between English and Portuguese is, in Portuguese, the stress is at the end. So, for example, you say sensual, but in Portuguese you say sensual. Okay. Sensual. You stress the last part, right?
Yes.
Sensual. So real, you say real. We say real.
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 Especial.
Sim, especial, special, especial, total, 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 original, original, virtual, virtual, virtual. So it's exactly the same word, but with the emphasis at the end, right? So
Yeah.
you can have plenty on that. Then you have words which are adjectives that finish in English they finish in ic, like basic, right? So the
Yes.
ic. And in Portuguese, you just add an O for the masculine or an A for the feminine. So, for example, basic, you say básico or básica. Then specific, you say in Portuguese específico or específica. Dramatic, dramático or dramática. Automatic, automático, automática. Fantastic, fantástico, fantástica. Organic, orgânico, orgânica, and so on, right? So you just put an O or an A, and you have the masculine or the feminine. Then you also have other words that are nouns like panic. You also put an O, pânico,
Very cool.
clinic, clinic, clínica with an A, right? Graphic, gráfico, logic, the logic. So you say lógica. So you put in this case, if they are nouns, they don't change with O and A, but you have to know if it's an O or an A. But at least if you say an O or an A, you have 50% chance of getting it right, right?
That's right. Yes.
Then the words finishing in ity, like city, right? Et. In Portuguese, they finish with idade, like city. You say cidade,
See that.
right? So you have also plenty of words that you know.
Tranquility.
Capacity,
Yeah,
yes.
tranquility. Tranquility.
Tranquility, tranquilidade. Capacity, capacidade. Simplicity, simplicidade. Community, comunidade. Opportunity, oportunidade, and so on and so on. And these words are usually feminine in Portuguese. Then you have lots of verbs in English that finish with ata, like activates, right? Eight. These verbs in Portuguese they finish in ar. So, for example, activate in Portuguese, ativar, right? And abbreviate, abreviar, agitate, agitar, communicate, comunicar, meditate, meditar, and so on, right? By the way, every verb in Portuguese, when you say the infinitive, so they always finish with an R in the infinitive, the name of the verb, let's say, the stress is always at the end. So you always stress the final part of the verb when you say the infinitive of the verb, the name of the verb. For people who don't like grammar a lot, so it's just okay. Don't worry about the word infinitive, but it when you for example, like I said, agitar, meditar, you stress at the end. Then, of course, these are verbs because you also have other words, nouns and adjectives that don't follow this rule. So just with the verb, because if you want to say, for example, state, it's the word in Portuguese estado. If you want to say candidate, candidato. If you want to say private, privado. Imediato. So this doesn't follow the rule because they are not verbs. Okay, just words with verbs. Then we have the words in English that also adjectives that finishes they finish with able and able, right? Memorable, for example, memorável, invisible, invisível. So you replace the able or the able by AVEL or IVEL in Portuguese. So invisible. you got invisible, right? You were invisible.
Yeah, sorry about that. I hope you weren't hearing me swearing in the background because I.
No, you were just demonstrating what's invisible, right? So invisible, accessible, acessível. So instead of evil is evil in Portuguese.
Yes.
And again, the stress is on the accent. So this is memorável. We put an accent on the A. Invisível. We put the accent on that I. Acessível. You put the accent on that I. So whenever you see an accent, it means the stress is there, right? Then you have other words that finish adjectives that finish with ent, like excellent,
Yes.
right? Excellent. And in Portuguese, what you do, you just add an e, just put an extra e. So excellent, excelente,
Excelente.
content, contente, fluent, fluent in the language, fluent, frequent, frequente, independent, independente, and so on, right? Also with some nouns like the present, presente, the president, presidente.
Yeah.
So this is valid to lots of words. Not all, of course. If you say the content is o conteúdo, the comment is o comentário. But in adjectives and some nouns, it happens. Then you have the words finishing in ism, like organism, right? And then in Portuguese, you add an O. Organism, organismo. Feminism, feminismo. Optimism, optimismo, and so on. And they are usually masculine, these words. O organismo, o feminismo, o otimismo. Then you have also the words finishing in ist, like pianist, and you just put an A in Portuguese. So pianist, pianista, specialist, especialista, activist, ativista, artist, artista, dentist, dentista, and so on, right? So I know this is a lot of rules, but this is a way that you have to, if you know the word in English, and then you already know plenty of vocabulary in Portuguese if you apply these rules.
So
Right?
true. And I think in those few minutes there, Filomena, you've given people's vocabulary, you've boosted it by 100 times probably, and the confidence. That's the other thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Because you to suddenly realize you know so many words so
Yes,
easily.
you do. You already do know. Yeah.
And people recognize it. I mean, I'm thinking of exatamente or
Yeah,
igualmente.
that's right.
And we say these things, and they're lovely things to be able to add into a conversation, aren't they?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's fantastic. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
When people, for example, when people wish you have a nice weekend, they say bom fim de semana, and you can say igualmente, right? Igualmente. So yeah, it's easy. Right?
Yes, that's brilliant. That's really helpful. Thank you so much for that. We have got an absolute mountain of comments and observations to work our way through here.
Any more questions? Any more questions, Carl?
Well, yes, folks, put question in front of your question because we've got a very busy comment stream this morning. And there's some someone's chucking in some Spanish here. We can't allow that, I'm afraid.
Está bueno verte.
What does that mean there? I'm not sure what that means.
Very similar. She says very similar to Spanish. It's good to see you.
Okay, all right.
That's in Spanish. Muy parecida al español. Está bueno verte.
That's how much of a pile of comments we've got. We're going back to that. Good to see you again. So, and yeah,
Estou tão feliz de ter café na esplanada. Wonderful, Pam. Very, very good. Very good. Perfect Portuguese, yes.
and it's true, isn't it? It has been lovely. And for Portuguese people, it sounds the same in English, the 13 and the 30.
Yes. 13 and 30, yes. Yeah.
I can understand that pain. Senor Pato, what a rock star, the real Leonardo of the wine world. Love the less sulfates angle. Yeah, he's doing amazing work. Filomena, you are absolutely awesome. Says
Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Peter.
Pete made a really good comment. I hope we come to it, but it was about ordering 12 doses of sweet and how that must
Yeah.
be difficult at the
12 doses de doce. Yeah. You
It's the
can
last.
try 12 doses de doce. You can try to ask for 12 portions of sweet.
Well, it's the Last Supper, I think Pete was saying. But alegria from Carlos Vitor there, and mas há outros números em inglês
Yes, of
que
course.
contém mesmo quando as palavras são foneticamente parecidas.
Very well, Carl. Very well.
I don't know what you're saying though.
But there are, he says, but there are other numbers in English when it happens the same.
Okay.
When the words are phonetically similar, right?
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, in every language there are words that are similar, and we have to practice the sound and get used to distinguish them.
We're all in the same boat. The wind's blowing in a different direction, but we're in the same boat. I always struggle to say União Europea correctly because it's too similar to the English. Yes, that can work, can't it? It's, you kind of sort of intuitively think it should be more difficult, and then you thwart yourself on that basis. I totally understand that, Pam. But some people will be wanting to talk about the European Union at the moment, so there it is for you. So União Europea.
União Europeia. União Europeia. The thing
Yeah.
is that we don't have the sound U as you have union, right? You say union, but we don't start with U. We just start with the sound U.
União.
União. União. And then we have on Europeia this EI that always makes difficult the pronunciation for British with the EI, right? Europei, it's a sound A, and sometimes people struggle with that sound. A. Europeia. União Europeia.
Fantastic. Bon dia from Louise. I'm late, just sneaking into the back of the class. And hold it. Wait there a moment. Count to 10 for me in Portuguese. During
ask for 12 portions of sweet.
Yeah, anyone sneaking in late, you have to ask for 12 portions of sweet. Bon dia from Caroline over there in Russia. Filomena, can you pronounce the number one? I think that's the hardest one for me. Slowly. Okay.
Slowly, yeah. Well, before pronouncing, I'm saying that the number one, the M, it's a U and an M, right? And the M is there not to be pronounced. We don't pronounce the M. It's just there to make a nasal sound of the U. So it's the just that.
Yes.
And that is the masculine form, because for the feminine we add an A, and then because we add an A, we pronounce the M, right? So we pronounce uma. So again, slowly. Uma. That's right. I hope it helped.
I think so, Ree. There you go. I think you'll have nailed that today. Yeah, all the cool kids are at the back of the class smoking and Portuguese at the same time, even at just before 10 o'clock. Sounds like dessert at the Last Supper. Must have been very confusing, unless Judas. Yes, nothing. Debbie Cruz, brilliant humour today, Carl. Good morning. It's always a lot of fun.
Always, not just today. It's always.
Can you spell that, please? Yes, I think we're getting a lot of
we can spell everything, but I don't know what.
Well, that's what's happening here. We're getting really good support from Joel, from Antonio.
Yes, yeah, and Rita, yeah,
and Anna's there as well. So yeah, we're getting some really. Thank you, really appreciate that. Edmundo, Taxi Man Edmundo in the Algarve, bon dia to Calmonton, the best online journalist award from the Taxi Man, and your guest from Vilamoura, Algarve, Portugal. You're from Vilamoura originally, Filomena?
Me? No, it must be speaking from. He must be speaking of someone else, because I'm not. No, it must be speaking of someone else.
All right, excellent. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here's another tongue twister.
He's probably from Vilamoura, isn't he? Probably he is from. Yeah, it means he is from Vilamoura. Yeah.
Okay, sorry for that, Edmundo. I'm no longer the best online journalist, having messed that. So is this a bit of a tongue twister here? The
Yeah,
Orato, a rolha, de garrafa, do rei, da Rússia. Do
very
Rússia.
good.
Yeah.
Rússia, Rússia. Yeah. O rato roeu a rolha da garrafa do rei da Rússia.
Oh, stop it. What? So
So to practice your R's, it's good to practice your R's, right? O rato roeu a rolha da garrafa do rei da Rússia.
okay, everybody write that down. Every morning we want to be hearing the orato reu arrolia da garrafa do rei da Rússia. Oh goodness. Okay. And another one here was this uma dosis de dos de doce. Is that in there's
No,
which version?
una dos, dos. That's she's doing it in Spanish.
Stop that. Hard enough already. We can't be having people speaking Spanish here as well. It's just Carl, you look confused and once speechless. That is also well as the laugh.
I
We have
always manage to confuse Carl. I always.
yes.
What?
She, so she definitely does. If you want to learn a tuga, you better be getting a beer buddy. Yes, that's great.
Yes,
Um, uh,
a good way to learn.
lições de
Lições de
português.
português muito bem.
Excellent one.
Yeah. Portuguese lessons very well.
Bom dia de perfeita. Regarding the 100 plus numbers, how do I say 116 as in the one? Do I say 116 or
No.
5? Oh, okay, you don't do that.
Yeah, we no, we don't do that. Even in years, for example, you say 1990, right? But we don't. We say 1990, or we say 2021. So we don't say 2021. We say 2000, 2021 e 21, 2021. And in this number, for example, 116, we never say 116, we say 116, 116, ou 508, 500, 500, 508,
508.
508. Unless you are, if you are saying your phone number, for example, you can say 508, right? I mean, you can say if you are telling your phone number. But if it's a number, if you want 508 grams of ham, then you say 508.
Okay.
508.
There you go, Peter.
508.
I suspect that's helpful. That solved another mystery. And what's this other laugh at our expense now?
Cento and cento. Yeah, because cento with a C is, as we have seen, 100 and something, right?
Yeah.
And the cento with an S is from the verb to sit. I sit down. Cento,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So you could say, well, I sit down. I sit down.
Well, the dog owners. If you're telling your dog to sit down, would that be
Yeah, center, yeah, or center, yeah, center,
and the car and center? Okay,
and the
good.
car, center, yeah.
Um,
Fica, stay, fica,
It's a
fica.
dog training class this morning. Thanks, Carlos. Seeing spelling is and really we really appreciate everybody who's.
Yes, the spelling is helpful. Yeah.
How about a show on navigating phone menus? Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, you know, the phone moment is terrifying, isn't it? If you get a phone call from a full on Portuguese van
Hmm.
driver wanting to deliver a parcel, and you're like, I just don't understand a single word that has just been said to me on the phone there, and you have to sort of break it down. So maybe that is a really good call, actually. Next time, the phone based language, like
Yeah.
asking someone.
Well, first of
Phone,
all, the big difference is when you answer the phone, you don't say hello in
exactly.
Portuguese. You
Estou,
don't.
right?
Yeah, you say está or estou.
Estou.
Right. You don't say hola. No, that's not an answer for the phone.
Okay. Oh,
On the phone, you don't say that.
okay. So that's let's make a little note of that. Phone based Portuguese for our next time together, Philomena. That'd be great. And thank you for that, John. Bon dia de Nazaré. Thank you for your show, Filomena. Spot on, says Dina. Enjoying it. And in Manchester, rainy Manchester, surprise, surprise, from Marie there. Good morning to you,
It's
Marie.
sunny. It's sunny out here. Look, it's sunny.
It looks so beautiful in Miranda this morning. Carl, I think 10 minutes a day on your show with Filomena will do fantastic. Well, what we need to do, Filomena, I think is well, I think if we could get the price right with you, and we could get the Portuguese government to sponsor it, and to help all the foreigners learn 10 minutes with Filomena every day, it would make a massive difference to
Yeah.
life in Portugal. So let's see what we can do. Are you in touch with the Prime Minister or the President at all? No. Okay.
No, unfortunately, no.
This is people are doing emoticons of me now, struggling.
Carly, so.
Okay. Good morning. Oh, stop it. Good morning, Filomena, wie geht? And look at this.
Dankeschön. Wie geht
Dankeschön.
es gut? Und Ihnen?
Oh, it's difficult enough already. I dream in Morse code, says Hank.
Okay.
Mark in New York, bon dia from New York City. How cool is this community? Look at this. Abu Muhammad dreams in both English, Arabic, and sometimes in French. I had a dream in German once, but I don't even speak.
Well, as I said, I used to speak German better in my dreams, so it can happen, maybe.
Yeah, I wonder. Maybe that's for explanation tonight rather than this morning. Exactly what was going on in that dream. Were you a German heating engineer who turned up at a young lady's apartment or something like that? But anyway, not now, Gary. I did the same in Bern, Switzerland, speaking Swiss German all day. It's an odd dialect, and dreaming in it was weird. Unfortunately, haven't used it for years. Need to practice. Yes, I guess, and it drifts away.
That's very important. I mean, not dreaming, but it's very important if you listen to the language all day long. You see, this is the way you learn, because the problem with lots of people that are trying to learn Portuguese is they focus on Portuguese, for example, 1 hour a week or 2 hours a week, and they think that's enough. It's not. To learn a language, you really have to dive into the language, and you have to listen as much as possible. Listen to Portuguese music. Portuguese music is not just fado, because people sometimes say, but I don't like fado. No problem. We have so many kinds of different types of music. So we have wonderful Portuguese singers. So why not listening to Portuguese music if you like music, or watching some Portuguese films, or whatever is of your interest. And why not? I mean, and of course, when you can, when we are free again, go and speak to your neighbors and to people in your community, and participate in the things organized by your community, your local community, because not now, of course, because we have been on hold for a year, but I usually invite some say no, some say yes. I invite foreign friends to local events to participate, not just to watch, not just a viewer, but a participant in it. And I have managed to get a few foreigners in my, let's say, dancing or no, the marchas populares. Do you know marchas populares?
No.
Marchas populares, that it usually happens in June. Well, they always happen usually, but not last year, unfortunately, and this year is probably the same. But we always have marchas populares in June, which is a parade, but at the same time with a choreography. It's a parade, but it's not dancing exactly. We call it marching, right? Marche, it's like an army marching, because we really line up and do a bit of marching, but then we stop and we start to do a choreography, a bit of a dancing, let's say. And I have already invited the British friends, and they have participated. And we have to sing in Portuguese at the same time. We have to sing.
We must
And,
talk. Yeah, can we advertise that on Good Morning Portugal and Expats Portugal? Because that'd be so much fun.
yeah, you can join us next year.
Let's do that next year. That sounds. Let's make that a date, everybody. I mean, the thing,
Yeah.
yeah, watching TV with the Portuguese subtitles, I find really helpful. But that
Yes.
radio, that you get a lot of swearing on Portuguese radio. I've noticed. Are you not a bit shocked by that, Filomena? All the effing and jeffing, sometimes in English, and some of the there is the fado, there's the pimba, and then there are radio stations that all have the ding,
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. Yes, you have every kind of music. Yes, it
Yes,
depends on
great,
what
great.
you like.
All right, fantastic. Hank's a bit odd this morning. I don't use a modem to surf the web either. I stare into the fiber optic cable and blink really fast. Hank, have more coffee, or have you had all your? Um, can I ask you, is this your PayPal address as well? Trips for
Yes, it
Brits.
is. It is. It is my
All right.
PayPal address. Yeah.
You get so much value off Filomena. If you want to buy Filomena a drink this morning, if you want to send her a coffee or a beer, that's the address for
Yeah.
doing that.
A tea. A tea. I don't like coffee. A tea.
If you want to send Filomena a cup of tea, that's the PayPal address. You can bung her a little bit of a tip and a thank you there if you've got
Thank
some
you.
British
And
friends.
and I organize some trips usually. That's why it's trips for Brits. But I'm hoping. To have a trip. It's a more specific one at the end of this month with two lovely ladies that want to know the cheese villages around here, and
Yeah,
so I have prepared for them 4 days of visiting here Coimbra, the city of Coimbra, and the Roman ruins of Conímbriga, for example,
beautiful.
and the cheese villages in Lausanne, in Miranda, near Ancião. So um, lots
And
of cheese villages.
maybe go to that nice olive oil and wine place in Panella, and then Rabasal for a bit of cheese. This
There are so many things. There are so many things to visit.
All right, so there it is. Trips for Brits to stay in touch with Filomena, not to be confused with Tripash for Brits, which is entirely different.
No, no, I don't like trippers. No.
Spanish and Portuguese having similarities to Swedish and Danish in the way that Swedish speak the words and they are spelled, and the Danish speak like they haven't swallowed their morning porridge yet. Stop it with these racial stereotypes. Honestly, there's the translation for God
Se Deus
willing.
quiser, yeah.
That is such a beautiful phrase. Thank you. We are going way back now. Obras, is it
Obras with an
A-S?
A. With
Yeah.
an A. Yes, not with an E.
Okay. Like the French. Peter's a proper
Travailler. Oui.
cunning linguist.
Travailler. Travailler. Yeah.
Over
In French. In
travailler.
French, travailler, and in
Yeah.
Portuguese, trabalhar. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Se Deus quiser. I love that. I love the way Filomena teaches us. Yes, she makes us
A
laugh.
bit crazy. It's a bit crazy way, right? A bit of crazy way.
Fantastic. From the verb querer to want. Thank you.
Yes.
I dream in different languages, better in real life too. Yes, I used to talk in my sleep, and my dad and college roommate both said I would speak in a scary foreign tongue, unrecognizable. What happened to Esperanto? Russian and Russell.
Ração, yeah.
Uh,
Ração.
oh, bare necessity. It is easy with Filomena. Look, you make it all sound so easy. Now,
It is. It is easy. It
you
is easy.
I think it is like a gearbox, actually, because this guy I was talking to yesterday, who I mentioned, who'd spent time in Germany, he said one day he could just suddenly speak it like that. And I think Portuguese maybe not quite so, but I think you're in neutral and you're thinking, I'm never going to get the hang of this. You get into your first gear with your tudo
Yeah.
bem, hola, bom
Yeah.
dia, and you start talking to people, second gear, third gear, and
Mhm.
and you will. Don't worry, bare necessity. Keep going, and I think you'll find that you work your way through the gears. Carlos and Antonio are Filomena's little Filomena's little.
Little helpers.
Sean is here. Hey, Sean. Thanks, Filomena. Good class. These are such good hints for language, says Maria. God damn, says Hank. What a sweetheart Filomena is.
Oh, thank you. Obrigada, Hank.
Eu te dar os parabéns. Eu quero
Mhm.
falar muito bem português. Oh, thank
Yes,
you. I really
yes, yes.
appreciate that.
Congratulations to you, Carl. You speak Portuguese
Oh,
very well. Yeah.
oh, thank you. If it's written, it helps. Yes, absolutely. So,
Yes,
so that
yeah.
is really working.
But
Filomena
but
is
but Carl has the control on the screen. I don't.
Filomena, very good. Clear pronunciation there, says Maxine.
Well,
Filomena, do you offer online classes? So basically, one to
yes,
one. Or do
one
you,
to one. Yeah, 1-to-1. Yeah, yeah.
so yes, trips for Brits. Mark, what does one say to other diners as you begin a meal, like bon appetit or provecho?
Yes, bon appetit. Bon appetit.
Bon,
Bon appetit.
okay, bon appetit. There you go. Very straightforward there. So that's an ooh sound on fantastico and not an o sound. Fantastico, right?
Sound. Yeah, it must be some word that we have said. I can't remember. Maybe união. União,
I,
maybe.
I think it is on fantastico itself. So
Oh,
is it
fantástico. Oh, yeah,
fantastico?
okay, on fantástico. Yeah, fantástico. So the final O, we don't have in Portuguese we don't have the sound O. We don't. So the sound of the O at the end of a word is always pronounced oo, oo, every time. The O at the end is oo. So
Yeah.
fantástico.
Fantastico. Excellent. All right, there you go, Hank. Fantastica, Filomena.
Obrigada, Peter.
I love it so much. It's the best way I can learn. I need to hear sounds and have associations. Thank you, says Jacqueline there. That's brilliant.
Mhm.
The little helpers are busy this morning.
Bom
Fabulous.
proveito, yes. Yes.
Yeah. And I can't roll my R's. I saw suddenly there. And absolute stack of comments. This is amazing.
Yes. Bom apetite. You can say bom apetite or bom proveito. But as he said, the first one is more common. Yeah.
Ok. Então, bom, Carl e Filomena, isto é fantástico. There again from
Very good. Muito bem, muito bem.
Bem.
Falam português muito bem.
There you go, Alex. And this is what we love as well. It's she can be firm with us, but she's very fair and encouraging as well. Brain close to exploding right now. I've already done an hour of Duolingo. Yes, wow. So head at tilt point, but fantastic, Filomena.
But be careful with the Brazilian version, right?
Absolutely.
Be careful because it's not the same.
Thanks for an interesting show. Now I feel encouraged to be able to learn and understand Portuguese as well as Spanish. Regards, Ricard from Sweden this morning. It's a pleasure. Absolutely, Ricard. Great to have your company. This has been a really useful and informative episode for a newbie to the language such as myself. Many thanks to Filomena. An episode that I will listen to again. Fantastic. You've given me hope.
Of course, there is always hope. There is always hope. A esperança é a última a morrer. A esperança é a última a morrer. Isn't it, Carl?
The hope is what? Is the ultima? I didn't get the
last
word.
A última a morrer.
Morir.
A esperança é a última a morrer.
I don't know what morir is. I'm sorry.
Morrer?
Yeah. What? Oh, what does that mean then? Like
to die. To die.
What does this mean?
The hope is the last to die. A esperança é a última a morrer.
Thank goodness for that. I thought I was going somewhere really dark for a minute, but yes, that is true. Hope is the last thing to die. Absolutely.
Yeah. So a esperança é a última a morrer. So yes, of course, there is still hope.
Okay, you gave me hope to learn Portuguese. It sounds so desperate over there in Norway this morning, but I'm glad we've put light at the end of the tunnel for you. Please have you a YouTube channel to follow you for Portuguese. You're not doing that from
No, I'm not doing that. No, I prefer the contact with people. I love people.
Yeah, it's obvious, isn't it, with Filomena here? So yeah, I mean, all the shows we've done with Filomena are available, and there's value in each and every one of them, I would say. So Mina, go look on our Expats Portugal YouTube channel. Latin words are all the same in all languages, just bending pronunciation.
Yes.
Muito obrigado, Filomena. Good class. Question. Another one coming in. I use Duolingo, which is prominent. Yeah, we've addressed this.
Brazilian, yeah. Mm-hmm.
How different is it? So you would advise against, wouldn't you, to stop getting confused?
Yeah, I mean, there are words, as I sometimes say, it's a bit like British English and American English. There are words that are different. There are the same words that mean different things, and there are different pronunciations. So, for example, let's give an example. How do you say a bathroom in Portuguese?
A sala de banho.
Casa de banho.
Casa de banho.
Casa de banho. Casa de banho. And in Brazil, they say banheiro. Banheiro. Okay. So completely different word, right? And I try my best in the Brazilian pronunciation, banheiro. Then in Portugal, we have the word banheira. They say banheiro for a bathroom, but we have the word banheira, which means a bathtub, right? A bathtub is banheira, but we don't use banheiro. We don't have that word. We say casa de banho. And for example, bala, bala. Do you know what's bala in Portuguese? Uma bala.
A ball.
No, that's bola. Bola is a ball, okay, bola. But bala is a bullet from a gun. Bala. Yes. In Brazil, it's a candy. It's a sweet, right? So if you ask for a bullet in Portugal, imagine that they uma bala, and then, well, okay, you asked for it.
Stay away from the but okay.
Right. No, but there are a few differences. There are a few differences. For example, remember that sentence that we have seen, "Olá Malta," when we were saying about the greeting, "Hello everybody," and we can say "Olá Malta." In Brazil, they could say "Olá galera," galera. So they say "galera" for folks, people. We don't have that word.
So best to stick as much as possible to European Portuguese resources. I mean, you can't. I mean,
there are many online and for free. Even there are many resources that you
I think anyone who wants to learn, we should never pee on their chips, as it were. But it just gets. I think the point is it just gets a bit confusing, rather than being massively unhelpful. But beach and beaches are hard words for non-English to say.
They are.
We get it. Life is a beach. Does Portuguese have silent letters in its pronunciation like English? Mm-hmm. Pneumatic being an example. So you've got some silent letters in the
Yes,
the
H, to start with the H. We don't pronounce the H at the beginning of the word. So we say hotel, hospital, right? So we don't pronounce the H. We say hábito.
Yes, there's a few English people who would like the sound of that, like the Cockneys, who will also be staying at an hotel. Bon dia from Nazir Ahmed. Thanks for that, Filomena. Yes, I remember that with the H's.
The H, yeah. The H at the end is never pronounced.
Okay, so bon dia from Nazir Ahmed. It's nasal. That would make quite a good T-shirt, wouldn't it? A range of T-shirts or merchandise with "It's nasal" written on it. You do not sound complete.
You do not sound complete to N.
So, very often I don't sound complete, Nazir. I think I know what you're getting at there, though. If you speak Brazilian Portuguese, we understand it, but there are many differences, especially in terms of pronunciation. Thank you, Antonio.
Yes.
Yes, it can lead to some amusing confusion. He's there ahead of us. The H at the beginning of
it's mute. Yes.
What is Portuguese for tires, though? Is that pneu like it is in
pneu?
Okay, so you
pneu.
Okay.
You pronounce the P and the N. Pneu.
The grammar in Portuguese seems to be very similar to grammar in Spanish, but do you personalize the verbs like Spanish?
Yes. Yes, of
Okay.
course. Yeah.
Of course.
Tienes, tengo, tienen, tienes. Yes.
Even more so, I suspect. Filomena, fun Friday. Great way to practice my Portuguese. Thank you from Susan. I can't roll my R's. Well, I think this is where the Brazilian might help, isn't it? It's like you need to go at the R with your whole body, not just with. I think, and maybe just do a little bit of a shimmy and a wiggle. Take a run up to it. I think.
Yeah. Well, he should practice that sentence. Do rato roeu a rolha da garrafa do rei da Rússia, right?
That's how easy it is, Mark. Come on. And how do you pronounce
Rato.
rato? Rato.
Rato.
Okay. Always
Rato.
practice rolling your R's, especially when walking down the street. Good morning from Ben, fellow Portuguese teacher. How are your classes going, Ben? A very young, enterprising man. Rolling my R's is difficult. Look, all right, everybody. Well, I think we've done that joke now. I may have missed this, but can you say the vowel sounds? Can we quick? We look. We're 20 past 10. We're going to be
Yeah.
exhausted in a minute. But would you mind just doing quickly the vowel sounds?
Well, the vowel sounds. We have many vowel sounds. For example, with the A, but I think we can probably do a show on the vowels. But the vowels, for example, we have the A,
Yeah,
and we can pronounce A, an open A,
yeah.
like agua, right? But as you have said, have you have noticed, in agua, you have an A at the end, and it's different from the first one, right? So you
Philip,
have A, and then you have but then you can have the nasal like amanhã.
oh,
So
Denise, what have you
this
started
is just to start with the A, okay? Just with the A.
We'll do a show. We'll do a show. We'll do a show on
I think it deserves a whole show on the vowels.
the vowel special. Um, Pamela, it's good to practice saying your date of birth so you're ready when people ask. There you go. That's
Yeah,
really good. Key
that's
phrases.
right.
Our dogs are now bilingual. They respond. Yeah, I do a bit of
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Fica, senta.
Down the
Anda
car.
cá. Yeah.
Peter, we'll conclude now with your comments, everybody. We've worked Filomena very hard. She's been very giving this morning. Don't forget tripsforbrits@gmail.com if you want to buy her a cuppa. There are lots of Portuguese copies of music. I was listening to the Friends theme. Oh, wow. So if you know something and then you listen to the Portuguese version, as Pete is suggesting here, that's a real good head start. Excellent shout, Pete. Any Portuguese podcasts that are good for general listening?
Yes,
There are. And
lots. There are lots. Yeah.
Yeah, they may come up in the comments here as well. Stephen Wells, good morning to you. Shelley's here
Yeah.
as well. Morning, Shelley. I watch 24 Kitchen every night. I can talk about recipes. Yeah, I mean,
Good.
Filipa Gomes is a national hero. I never tire of watching Filipa Gomes. Peter Robinson, I try and speak to the neighbours and the shopkeepers in Perafita, but they all speak ever so fast. It's true, Peter.
You just have to say mais devagar, por favor. Slower, please. Mais devagar, por favor.
Excellent. I guess watching kids' cartoons in Portuguese. Yes, I'm an expert in Paw Patrol and Bluey myself. Speak slower and simple. Yes, that's a good shout. The Radio Garden is a fantastic app for finding radio stations around the world by location. So there you go. Good tip from Ian. Volunteering is a great way to get involved with your local community. I think that's
we haven't spoken about the shop, right? To help other people. Yeah.
Let's do that.
Remember.
No, let's do that now then, because I think that's. I mean, we've said this on the show before. If you go and volunteer, if you can, once a week or something, you'll be in among Portuguese people in the community. You'll hear them talking to each other. They'll talk to you, and they'll give you time of day to learn a bit. Great idea, Pam. And what's the one next door to you then? What's going on there?
Yeah, my next door neighbor is a place where people can go and donate clothes and shoes, things that they don't need anymore. And then people who need it, they can just go and pick it up. So there is no money involved at all. Nothing is sold, nothing is bought. Is just to go leave your the things that you don't need anymore. And then because we also have lots of refugees around here, right? We have lots of refugees coming from Sudan, from Syria, from other parts of the world, and not just for refugees. I mean, every person is welcome, and if they need something, they just go and choose piece of clothing or some shoes or whatever is in the shop.
That's a wonderful thing, really good, and a wonderful reflection of Portuguese society. So, and I imagine you're not alone in having that one in Miranda de Corvo. They'll be all over the
No, of
country.
course not. No, there are plenty in many other places. Yeah.
Yeah, and some people prefer working with animals over humans. So there are, of course, the animal shelters as well, where you could do
Yeah,
similar.
there are. Yeah.
Excellent idea, excellent idea. So I can't. I'm so sorry this morning. I can't address all the comments. We have been officially overloaded again. I must tell you, the German sleepwalking dream. And I put Pingados or while walking the dog with complete strangers. Yes, it's in at the deep end, says Andrew, but seems to help me gain confidence. Yes, chuck
Yes.
yourself
Yeah.
in there. And
Yes. The only way to learn is to try. You know, if you are afraid, because some people are too afraid of making mistakes, and they never start speaking to other people.
yeah,
But if you never try, you won't improve, isn't it? So you
exactly.
don't worry about making mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. I make mistakes. I'm sure I make lots of mistakes in English, so it doesn't matter. Just try, and they people appreciate when you try. They
And,
do appreciate.
and here's the other thing: it's not France, so people aren't going to look at you all weird. Uh, people will be very sorry. That is another sort of racial stereotype. I have to say the Portuguese people are so welcoming, warm, and friendly anyway. And then
They
when you speak the language, it goes a long way, and people will try and help you. They won't just sort of look down their nose at you and think,
no,
"What?"
they might. I just would like to add that they might laugh, but they are not laughing at you. I mean, they are not making fun of you. It's just because it's funny. You know, if I pronounce something, I have already remember those Georgian sentences and things that we have practiced. I mean, when I pronounce that, you also laughed. I mean, it's funny, isn't it? I
And we're
mean,
laughing with you.
there is nothing wrong with, well, a bit of laugh, but it's not making fun of you. Bear that in mind, because people sometimes think, oh, I mean, it's so rude because they laughed at my attempt. No, it's not just, it's just for fun. And they will help you. They will definitely help you to improve.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Bravo, Filomena, great lesson. Perhaps the show should be renamed. We have to get Owen back in. Phenomenal, Filomena
Yeah,
Friday.
we
Yes,
have to recover that jingle. We have to
that,
recover the jingle from Owen, right?
that is a long jingle to record. Where is Owen? Come on, we need to hear from you, Owen.
Well, he has been in contact with me with some advices. He has asked some advices. Yeah,
Oh,
I
good.
hope I could help.
Give him our love when you speak to him next. Where is this, please, for the refugees? Is this
In
a one?
Miranda, we are speaking of Miranda do Corvo. Miranda do Corvo. So I'm in Miranda do Corvo, and it's right opposite the town hall where I am at the moment. The window that you can see is the Praça José Falcão, the main square, Praça José Falcão, and it's in the center of Miranda do Corvo, near Coimbra, near Lausanne, so in central Portugal. But as Carl said, this happens in many other towns, not
Yeah.
just here.
Okay, so on board with the volunteering idea. What better way to give back to the host country? Yeah, and you'll be among like everyday people in the project, and they'll be talking to you, and you'll be learning skills, linguistically and culturally. One of the greatest things you can do for yourself is give yourself permission to fail. Well said,
Yes,
Hank.
yes,
Uh,
yeah,
and we are so
absolutely.
lucky to have Filomena here in Miranda, one of your fans.
Yeah, she lives in Miranda. Annie lives near Miranda. Yes, in a village nearby, and Casais de São Clemente nearby. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. And I think what we'll finish with today. Thank you for all your comments, and sorry if I didn't get to some of them. But yes, Esperanza e a último amor.
Mm-hmm.
Last thing
Yes.
to die. This could be Portugal in one sentence. That is
Yes.
very moving. Thank you, Analita Vieira.
Yes. Thank you.
Ever in our history. So what a beautiful
Mm-hmm.
gift.
Yeah,
As well.
we are always hoping all the time. We are always hoping for the best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a bad state to be in.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we are generally Portuguese are generally optimistic, very
Yeah.
optimistic. Yeah.
And there is a similar shop in Leiria to the
Yes,
volunteer.
yes, and all over the country, not just here, all over the country.
Absolutely. Okay. So Filomena, phenomenal, Filomena. And this last phrase as well, another beauty. The Sedush Kizer. I hope we
God
will
willing,
see.
yeah.
So we
Se Deus quiser.
we'll see you on our next phenomenal Filomena Friday episode. What is this the second? We're second
The
Friday.
second Friday. Yes, we have set the second Friday.
Pop that in your diaries, folks. Second Friday. Deus quiser.
Se Deus quiser.
And bom fim de semana. And
Igualmente, obrigada, igualmente.
muito obrigado, Filomena. Ciao, ciao, and thank you to everybody. Obrigado a todos. And
Obrigada a todos.
We'll see you tonight on the Man Cave. And you know what's coming your way in the Man Cave this evening. Take care. Yeah. Bye for now. Thanks, Filomena. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.